In the years following their arrival in Lower Pannonia, the Slavic tribes were fortunate to enjoy a relatively peaceful chapter of their history. Their Avar overlords were getting increasingly occupied with internal issues, and as their grasp weakened, the Slavs had more room to grow. However, in the 790s, Charlemagne came to defeat the Avar Khaganate, subjected the Slavic tribes, and established Frankish dominance across the Lower Pannonian region. The Slavs will try to break free within decades, but they will stay under Frankish rule for more than 100 years. It seems that it was somewhere around this time that the settlement on Gradec hill slowly started declining. Historians have argued that it might have been damaged during the conflicts, but the lack of historical sources leaves this question unanswered. Still, as activity on Gradec faded, a small settlement emerged on another part of what we today consider Zagreb's urban core, the neighboring Kaptol hill. This little Slavic hamlet will maintain a period of continuity on Kaptol that will last until this day, to become a direct predecessor to the modern city of Zagreb. In this episode, we'll try to discern some of the processes that affected its emergence and build it in the game as best as we can. So let's get to it. Due to the scarcity of historical sources from the 9th century, the origins of the early Kaptol settlement are very vague. Some historians have suggested that the early Slavs preferred Kaptol because they traditionally liked living closer to the water. Kaptol is significantly lower hill than Gradec, which would make it more difficult to defend. But at the time, it was surrounded by water on 3 sides. With the Medveščak Creek to the west and south, and a swampy area to the east, the proximity of water would fit their lifestyle and satisfy the basic needs for defense. The lifestyle of a society is strongly related to the place where they live, so it would be no wonder if the Slavs settled where they felt more comfortable. So let's try to figure out how the settlement might have looked like at the time. In the central part of the hill, archaeologists found evidence of wooden dugout houses ranging from 10 to 12 square meters in size. It was probably one of the earliest parts of the Kaptol settlement, which would emerge right around the alleged fall of the Gradec fort. The dwellings found here were very similar to the ones in Gradec, so it's likely that they were organized in a similar fashion as well. More evidence from the period was found around today's cathedral, indicating a possible burial site dating back between the 8th and 11th centuries. Historians have suggested that this might have been a graveyard next to an early parish church, which would appear somewhere during the period of Christianization. This church would likely be a catalyst of the settlement's growth, and serve as a focal point of urban development even in the earliest days. The rest of the hill would be used for livestock herding or some small-scale farming, possibly with small homesteads or tribal clusters scattered around. However, the adaptation to a sedentary lifestyle will cause a gradual shift to a crop-cultivating agriculture and slowly introduce the concept of land ownership to our tribal society. Therefore, it's likely that it was somewhere around this period that a rudimentary division of land took place in our settlement as well. Over the next few centuries, the Kaptol settlement will take the leading role in Zagreb's development, while the one on Gradec slowly fades away. Still, it doesn't necessarily mean that the Gradec hill was completely abandoned. In fact, some historians have suggested that it might have transformed into a refuge for the local population and became the seat of the local ruler. Whatever the case, it seems that by the early 9th century, the seed of habitation was sown on both of Zagreb's hills. The beginning of the 10th century will see the end of Frankish dominance over the Zagreb area, when Croats, one of the dominant Slavic tribes in the region, start their rise to power. They will establish a kingdom across the Western Balkans and spread their name to many Slavic tribes, perhaps to the one in Zagreb as well. However, after nearly 200 years, the Croatian kingdom will descend into a succession crisis, and with the death of their last legitimate ruler, they will pass their crown to the Hungarian kings. The Hungarians played a key role in the development of our city. In 1094, they established the first bishopric on Kaptol, and in 1242, their kings proclaimed Gradec a free royal city. This division will become the basis of conflict for centuries to come and provide a framework for the development of Kaptol and Gradec as two separate medieval towns. However, after centuries of disputes, their destiny will not be one of division, but rather one of unity. Follow it all in the next chapter of the Story of Zagreb.